The next segment I would like to lead into and just kind of talk through before we get into like the topic of the day is random acts of creativity. And this is just talking about different ways of how you're pouring into yourself to keep your creativity kindled, regardless of if you are working on anything creative oriented at that time or not, because sometimes you are working on creative stuff, sometimes you're not. It just be like that sometimes. And that's okay. It's no right or wrong way to be, because you can be creative even when you are not working on creative content. You can obviously you be a creative, you be creative when working on creative content as well. So it's really no right or wrong way to be creative. So for me, a random act of creativity that I've been doing this week is truly delving into the world of affirmations and just telling myself what I need in different moments to affirm myself. Like I have different affirmation tools that I've been given, but sometimes sometimes that don't be cutting it when you feel like yourself just getting overwhelmed, or you feel yourself being in a panic, or you feel yourself doubting yourself. Sometimes like those are good and cute, but sometimes internally you do know what it is that you need in that moment. And saying a little mantra to yourself is not the worst thing that you can do for yourself. So I think what I've and like you gotta be creative too. I think that is a like, it's like like hold on, I'm trying to find a word here. Like self-starting and being able to energize yourself in different things. That takes some creativity, because a lot of the times we can feel depleted. We can feel like, oh my God, it's super easy to take on the role of defeat when you are doing something creative oriented, because it's like, again, we've talked about it before, you're super 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 sensitive about what it is that you're doing, and it's very personal and you want it to be right. But sometimes in that moment while you're moving and shaking and going and going and going, it's kind of like, I feel depleted in this way, or I'm not sure how it is that I can move forward and be my best in a situation or in a place. And so I think that in those moments it's very vital to be able to take a step back and like really feel where you're at, and um so you can assess the situation. And then at that point, you take that moment and you move forward in a way that gives yourself some type of power in that moment. Because it's like, I don't know, speaking for myself, you feel kind of powerless when you're feeling like overwhelmed and defeated by the situation, or trying to be creative or trying to create something that people are gonna mess with, as opposed to creating it authentically. If they're gonna mess with, they're gonna mess with it. If they're not, they not. They weren't, you know what I mean? They may not be in a place to receive at that time, in real time. They may have to come back and be able to receive and have something resonate with them. So doing it for people to to like initially or otherwise, or at all, um that's not the best way to create. Of course, we want people to appreciate our work, but if you appreciate your work, that's really kind of all that counts. So for me, in the last couple weeks, I have really just been feeling like overwhelmed. It's just too much stuff. Like, you try to do everything that you can to creatively and otherwise creative and otherwise in real life and in creative life. I think they both, the lines of real life and creative life are blurred, but we're people outside of our creativity as well. But I just felt like super overwhelmed. Felt like stuff was just like piling up, but I couldn't do much. You know, it's just like you really feel like you're chasing your tail. You know, it feels like I don't really know which way to go here. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try to do something, but it don't really make no sense. So good luck. I don't know if that made any sense or all the sense or none of the sense, that's fine. But um for me, I was just feeling really overwhelmed and really like not like it's like I did everything I was supposed to do and everything that was in my control. And then I'm still sitting here in this space that is still very uncontrolled and it has nothing to do with me. I just have to wait it out and be cool, right? And so, you know, anxiety was anxietying. Anxiety was anxious. Yeah, anxiety is not a word. But anyway, the anxiety was up. It was up because it was just like, it's a lot that's just not in my hands specifically. And it's like I trusted myself to get these different things done, but then there was still so much more room for error. Sorry, talking quick. So much room for error in the mix that it was just like, okay, now we just gotta put that out there and move on, and however it be received, however things move forward it is what it is. Like, you've done everything that you can do and now you gotta chill out. But it was just like that anxiousness of the unknown was just insane. It was a lot and it was really tough to work through and tough to find some light in that because it was just like I did everything right. I'm a person that is just like I try to do things right. I try to do things in some type of order. And then when they don't work from doing things in order, after I've thought about it thoroughly, it is a lot. It is a lot to take in, and it's a lot to just have to be in a state where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to let it go. And if it goes well, it goes well. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's really a difficult space. And I know even as a creative, it's like, well, that's the game, but it can be tough. It can be tough. And like even doing stuff that you like to do, even being in spaces you want to be in, even being in otherwise what may even be perceived as a good situation and a good role, it can still be stressful and it can still give you some anxiousness and it can still be something that causes pause um within you. And so I've really been trying to do some work, some self-work, um to be able to take a minute to to see what I need in different moments where I'm feeling like super anxious. Okay, let me try to breathe deeply. Let me try to release some type of tension. Let me try to like let my shoulders down and literally change my posture up so that I'm in a more peaceful state. And I'm trying to be like way more mindful with myself as an individual and not just look at myself like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. Into changing that to affirm myself as opposed to criticize myself in these different moments. So I've been doing the affirmations, and honestly, y'all, it can be something, it can be a whole long, it can be a scripture, it can be, a pre-made affirmation, or it can just be what you need on the spot. You know what I mean? Because it's no right or wrong way to do it. But sometimes in them clutches of circumstance, you're not always thinking like about the paragraph that was inspirational, uh for affirmations and inspirations like that. Sometimes you're like, look, right now I'm feeling like I'm feeling low. I'm feeling like I don't know what's going on. I'm feeling confused. I'm feeling, I'm feeling, less than. I'm feeling very inferior in this moment. I'm feeling whatever the case may be. And literally you can just say 4 sentences and repeat those and try to breathe through that feeling and breathe through that space to just try to tap through to a new space for yourself, as a person and first and then as a creative. So I was in a space where I just was like anxiety through the roof. It was just a lot going on at one time, and then it was like isolation in that anxiety. So it just brought it up multiple notches. So what I said is like, I am whole, I am healthy, I am happy, I'm healed. That is literally what I needed to say. You know what I'm saying? And that's just in general, right? Like that's speaking to me as a human being, as a person. And I think that for me to kind of like take that level to feel what it is that I needed, what I didn't feel was the case. And then flip those things like, okay, even like if you're feeling like defeated or whatever, it's like, okay, well, I'm still these things. So let's work from there. So I'm whole, I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I'm healed. All right, this is somewhere where we can go. We can build. Okay, so it's like these are basic things on my little checklist that I can do and I can check off. And I'm like, okay, I'm here. And that helps you become more present in your approach and become more present, period. And then once you're present, once you are here, you mark yourself off of the attendance list. Then it's like, okay, let's take a deep breath. Let's calm down. Let's try to release some tension. Let's read. Let's journal it out. Let's watch some TV, whatever it is that you need to do to cool it for a second. And then you can come back into it. And I understand that there's a feeling that there's not always time to do these different things, but some things you do have to make time for, because I'd rather take some time to affirm myself real quick in different spaces and places and just say like, hey, you do belong here, or hey, you are necessary here, you're necessary, period. I'd rather take those times and those moments to do that than to just keep running off fumes and and not doing anything.